So there are a lot of first-person shooter games out there that are trying to be the next one to reinvent the wheel, so to speak. Superhot, I feel, not only does that, but at the same time does so by being the most innovative shooter of all time. And yes, the game did tell me to say that and convey that message to the masses. But regardless of that, let's see just what makes Superhot, well, the most innovative shooter of all time. Okay, so first up, we're going to go with graphics, performance, and controls. Now, you may be thinking, how can I break down the graphics here when all it's being sculpted and presented on screen are a series of white backgrounds and stages filled with merry red polygon-shaped men? Well, just know that within these vanilla-like levels possesses some really smooth-like textures and even nifty particle effects when weapons or objects shatter about. I was playing on my Xbox One X, and also it was a bit hard to tell just how good the frame rate was at times, but as the motion in the game and time is restricted to the player's movement. So if you're not in motion and plotting your next attack pattern, no frames will be moving around. But on the flip side, I did notice the game was upscaling from 1080p to on a higher resolution, upscale to a 4K TV, which if you're playing on a 4K OLED, which was a nice touch, it'll upscale. Even though the game isn't really about visual sensations as opposed to its odd yet awesome gameplay. In regards to the controls, now, when we get down to the control aspect, there's a slight learning curve to adjust a simple set of controls, but the button mapping and placement may take a few missions to get fully adjusted to and finally attuned to them. But in reference to the aiming, the game makes sure it finally syncs up, setting your sights on your mark ever so intricately, almost as if the game gives special attention to detail in controlling and aiming, just right, as it were almost a form of science and art, as opposed to a simple function and I appreciate that what the developer did here in that aspect, as the controls need to be tightly tweaked to pull off what the entire motif of the game is, and we will touch on what that motif is, which will bring us into our next section right now, which is a bit about the gameplay and the story. Gameplay present in Superhot feels very weird at first, and to be quite honest, I almost quit the game in the first couple of chapters after not fully understanding what the game was trying to portray or what it wanted to do. But after I wrapped my head around the concept and the idea that the game was trying to be, in which what it's trying to do is when time is not moving, and it's as time is standing still and having only move when you are in motion. The character, you as the player, is in motion. It honestly is quite genius at the end of the day when you think about it, and when you experience it at first hand. For example, let's say you start off a level facing off against two enemies. The stage will start off where time is completely stopped and not in motion at all. The game then switches from being a simple first-person shooter to a complex puzzle-like strategy simulation, where you have to think and map out your movement patterns like you're figuring out your next move in chess. Because once you start moving, so will the enemies on screen, and as will their bullets. So most of the time, you're actually being spent slowly dodging bullets and shotgun pellets like you're Neo in a polygonal Matrix-like movie, which oddly enough feels awesome as it is to pull off, and even features replays of your runs by level so you can see your mapped out plan go into action, which is really cool. Some levels are hilarious too, where you start off with a freaking telephone or a briefcase, and you have the option, like a throw option, so you can toss the blunt objects at enemies, which causes them to go fucking lose their balance and shit and drop the weapons. Weapons go flying in the air, and since time is stopping and their weapons are flying, when you stop moving, the weapon will stop moving in mid-flight, and you can catch their weapon out of mid-air and turn it against them, which is fucking awesome. It's just another simple yet amazing feature to have like that in the game that deals with the time manipulation so prominently and well as Superhot does. The game is split up into about 26 to 36 levels, I believe, and each are super short and only take under 2 minutes or less to complete, which is perfect for a pick up and play option, especially on the go since this game just came out for the Nintendo Switch. Also, the game may not feel like it has a story at first, which, honestly, it doesn't at first. But I would say about, you're just a character communicating, what seems like a friend via text messaging, what looks like from the early days of the internet back in the 90s when there was nothing but a black screen, BIOS-like screen, and you're just, asking, what's the point of this game? There's no story, no plot, blah, blah, blah. I'm just shooting red dudes. But the more levels you complete, just like the Matrix, the deeper down the rabbit hole you will go. And by the end of the game, you will feel as if the game is brooding with life and communicating with you on a kind of a dark, personal, creepy level, making you question your reality almost. almost, and kind of takes on an almost horror-like feel at times, which caught me off guard completely until I was deep into about halfway or 3/4 into the game, and I really got to say that it got that eerie-like feeling, but I was enjoying myself for the most part, and really appreciated the game's dark and somber-like tone. So yeah, the sound and music, I mean, honestly, with the absence of much of a musical score, you would think it takes away from the rest of the game, but no, not really. It actually just boasts the focus on the sound effects then, such as the sounds of guns shooting, glass shattering, objects breaking apart, and you really kind of need that to separate sound effects from music in a game like Superhot, because when time is slowed down to a halt and only moves forward when your character does, being able to hear any little minute sounds such as gunfire or enemies coming across coming from any place, any location is vastly important, which is why I'd say I would recommend playing this game with headphones on to get more of a surround sound like feel and type of effect. The only voice acting in the game is whenever you beat a level, a robotic voice almost sounds like they're getting ready to drop it like it's hot at a freaking techno nightclub on a Saturday night. It says super hot over and over and over again until you proceed forward, which can get a little annoying, but luckily you can skip it as soon as you beat each stage. On to replay value, yeah, so even though Superhot not only boasts about 36 levels, and it's only a couple hours long, 2-3 hours long, the main story missions, there is an endless challenge mode that and multiple achievements and unlockables that will keep you coming back for more over and over again to try and perfect in this unique puzzle-like first-person shooter. And if you complete the game without getting hit once, I think you unlock a gold trophy or achievement worth over 100 points or something ridiculous like that. But if you get hit once, I heard, even though like it's weird. There's that achievement if you have to go from start to finish without getting hit once, and if you get hit once, it negs your progress. You can't even restart a level. You just gotta kind of just restart the whole game over again. So I don't recommend that challenge unless you're super confident in your strategic first-person shooter-like prowess. We're going to go with the overall score, and is it worth your time? I'm going with 9 out of 10, folks. Bam! Just like that. When I first started playing Superhot, its bizarre nature almost turned me off completely, like I said. But after a few chapters, something in my brain clicked, and I went, wow, this is the most innovative shooter I've ever experienced. And like I said in the beginning in my review, and the end of the story, the game will literally tell you, now spread the word around. And honestly, I'm not sure if it's the game telling me to do this, or I'm just brainwashed at this point, or I'm just like my consciousness is slipping away, but I'm just feeling it necessary to say, Superhot is the most innovative first-person shooter I've ever played, but a damn fine one, and also a damn fine one at that, indeed. And it is also very worthy of your time, as it is quite the epic and awesome ride to play out from start to finish, with some very cool-like stages and very well drawn-out stages, and really intriguing and compelling shooting infrastructures and designs through and through. With that being said, that is my review of Superhot. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Thanks as always for stopping by.